Imagine a girl born in a country that did not even exist on the map, a country whose language was forbidden, a country whose schools were watched by soldiers. That girl was Marie Skłodowska, and she would grow up to discover something so powerful it could heal the human body and destroy it. She named one of her discoveries polonium, after a homeland she might never see free again. The other she called radium, the element that shines in the dark. Today you will hear the true story of the poor girl who discovered the power of the universe. Marie was born on the 7th of November 1867 in Warsaw. At that time, Poland was not a free country. It was divided and ruled by 3 foreign empires. The largest part, including Warsaw, belonged to Russia. It was illegal to speak Polish in schools. It was illegal to teach Polish history. Russian soldiers were everywhere, watching the people. Marie's father was a teacher of physics and mathematics. He loved science. He loved his country. He kept old Polish books hidden under the floor of his study, and at night he read them quietly to his 5 children. Marie was the youngest of 5. Her family was poor but full of love. Her mother had been the headmistress of a fine school, but she became sick with tuberculosis when Marie was very small. The doctor said the mother must never kiss her own children in case the disease passed to them. Imagine being a small girl, watching your mother from across the room, knowing you could never feel her warm cheek against yours. This was Marie's childhood. Then came worse news. When Marie was 9, her oldest sister Zofia caught typhus and died. 2 years later, her mother also died. Marie was only 11 years old. She stopped speaking for many weeks. She lost her belief in God. The only thing left, the only thing that gave her peace, was reading. She read everything she could find. Books became her quiet world. By the time Marie was 15, she finished school first in her class. She won a gold medal for excellence. But in Russian-ruled Poland, women were not allowed to go to university. Marie and her older sister Bronia had a plan. They would both go to Paris. In France, women could study at the famous Sorbonne. But they had no money. The sisters made a deal. Marie would work as a governess for rich families. With the money she earned, she would send Bronia to Paris. Once Bronia became a doctor, Bronia would help Marie do the same. For 6 long years, Marie lived in the countryside, teaching the children of strangers. She was lonely. She fell in love once with the son of the family, but his parents refused to let him marry a poor governess. He obeyed them. Marie's heart was broken. At night, after the children were asleep, Marie read science books, physics, chemistry, mathematics. She taught herself everything she could not learn in school. She started to understand. She did not just want to teach, she wanted to discover. In 1891, when Marie was 24 years old, she finally boarded a train to Paris. She had only a few books, some old bread, and a small wooden suitcase. She would never live in Warsaw again. The Sorbonne was the most famous university in Europe. The lecture halls were full of brilliant men. Among them sat one quiet young woman in plain dark clothes, taking careful notes. Marie did not understand all the French at first. She studied harder than anyone else. She rented a tiny attic room on the 6th floor of a cheap building in the Latin Quarter. In winter, the water in her washing bowl turned to ice. She had no fireplace. She would put every piece of clothing she owned on her bed at night just to stay warm. She often forgot to eat. She lived on bread, butter, and tea. Twice she fainted in class from hunger. Her sister Bronia, now a doctor, would come to find her, scold her, and force her to eat a proper meal. In 1893, Marie graduated first in her class in physics. The next year, she came second in mathematics. No woman had ever achieved such results at the Sorbonne. Then, in the spring of 1894, Marie was introduced to a quiet, thoughtful French scientist named Pierre Curie. Pierre was 35 years old, gentle, brilliant, and completely uninterested in fame. He had decided long ago that he would never marry. Marie had decided long ago that she would never love again. Within a year, they were married. They had no rings, no wedding dress, and no honeymoon party. As a wedding gift, they bought 2 bicycles and rode them across the French countryside. In 1897, a French physicist had discovered that the metal uranium gave off strange invisible rays. Marie chose to study these rays for her doctoral thesis. No one yet understood what they were. The Curies were given a small old shed to work in. The roof leaked. The walls were unheated. The dust never settled. It was here that they would spend the next 4 years. Marie tested every known mineral. She discovered that a black mineral called pitchblende gave off much more radiation than the uranium it contained. Something else was inside it. Something undiscovered. The Curies bought tons of waste pitchblende from a Czech mine. Tons. They lifted it. They boiled it. They stirred it for hours with iron rods, in pots taller than Marie herself. Marie was looking for an element no one had ever seen. After 4 years of dirty, dangerous work, she finally produced 1/10 of a gram of pure radium. Just 1/10 of a gram, from 4 tons of rock. Pierre asked her what she hoped this new element would look like. Marie said quietly, "I would like it to have a beautiful color." That night, they went down to their dark shed. Inside, the small vial of radium was glowing, a soft blue-green light shining all by itself. In 1903, Marie and Pierre Curie shared the Nobel Prize in physics. Marie was the first woman in history to ever win a Nobel Prize. But happiness, as Marie knew, never lasts long. On a wet afternoon in April 1906, Pierre was walking across a busy Paris street, lost in thought. He stepped in front of a heavy horse-drawn cart. The horses could not stop in time. Pierre died instantly. Marie was 38 years old. She had lost her partner, her best friend, and the love of her life. For weeks, she could not work. She could not eat. She would sit in the laboratory in her black mourning clothes and stare at the bench where Pierre used to stand. But Marie did not stop. The Sorbonne offered her Pierre's teaching position. She accepted. On the 5th of November 1906, Marie Curie walked into the lecture hall and became the first woman ever to teach at the Sorbonne. The room was packed. She began her lecture with the exact sentence Pierre had used the year before. She kept working. She kept studying her glowing element. In 1911, just 5 years after Pierre's death, Marie Curie won a second Nobel Prize, this time in chemistry, for the discovery of pure radium and polonium. She remains to this day the only person in history to win Nobel Prizes in 2 different sciences. When the First World War began in 1914, Marie did not want to stay in her laboratory. She built small X-ray machines and put them inside cars. She trained other women to drive them. She drove one herself right to the front lines. These mobile X-rays helped doctors find bullets, shells, and broken bones inside wounded soldiers. They saved the lives of more than 1 million men. But Marie's beautiful glowing radium had a dark side. The same rays that healed sick bodies also damaged healthy ones. For 30 years, Marie had carried tubes of radium in the pockets of her dress. She had slept with one beside her bed because she liked the soft glow at night. Slowly, the rays began to kill her. Marie Curie died in July 1934 at the age of 66. The radiation from her own discoveries had destroyed her bones. Her notebooks are still so radioactive that they are kept in special lead boxes today. To read them, you must wear protective clothing, even now, almost 100 years later. Marie Curie was born in a country that did not exist. She lost her mother at 11. She studied in cold attics on bread and tea. She lost the love of her life in the middle of the street. And still she lit up the world. 2 daughters survived her. The older one, Irene, also won a Nobel Prize. They remain the only mother and daughter in history to both wear that medal. The poor girl from Warsaw, the girl whose country was not even allowed a name, discovered the power of the universe, and she gave that power freely to the world. If this story warmed your evening, subscribe to Lamplight English. Every Tuesday and Friday, a new chapter, told slowly, told clearly, told by lamplight. Until next time.